Hey guys, we are going to read a story today called Crazy Hair Day. And as you can see, my hair's looking a little crazy too today, so I guess that I just fit right into this story. So we're actually going to be reading books all about hair today, tomorrow, which is Friday, and then on Monday. And then on Tuesday, we will have a whole grade Zoom meeting where we're all going to wear our hair crazy. So you can do whatever you decide that you want to do for your hair that day because we're all going to come to the Zoom meeting with super crazy hair. Now, we've talked about making predictions before with our stories. So one of the best times to make a prediction, like we talked about before, is even before you start reading, just looking at the front cover. So I'm going to share my screen with you, and I'm going to bring up the front cover of this book that we're going to read, Crazy Hair Day. All right, guys. So this is called Crazy Hair Day, and it's by Barney Saltzberg. Now, just by looking at the title says Crazy Hair Day, and the picture, what could you predict that this might be about? I mean, I'm going to predict that whoever this character is probably going to fix his hair crazy because it looks pretty crazy there. It looks like he's got some different colors going on. He has a little container that he's holding that says hair goop. And so he's done something crazy with his hair. Maybe he's gonna go to a silly party. Maybe they're dressing up for a party. Maybe they're having a day at school. We have dress up days at school sometimes, so maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe he's doing it for a Zoom meeting, just like we're gonna have on Tuesday. Maybe he's getting his hair fixed for a Zoom meeting. So those are some of my predictions. Remember, they may not all be right, but that's okay. So let's keep reading so that way we can see what exactly he has this crazy hair for. There he is waking up. Crazy Hair Day, Barney Saltzberg. Stanley Birdbaum woke up early. Bald Eagle Elementary School was celebrating Crazy Hair Day. And Stanley couldn't wait. They had celebrated Pajama Day, Twin Day, and 60s Day. Stanley's favorite was Twin Day because he and his best friend, Larry Finchfeather, had worn exactly the same thing. There's him on 60s Day, it looks like. Stanley was ready. He had rubber bands, he had styling gel, and to make his hair perfect, Stanley had 2 cans of Halloween's hairspray. Stanley's mother knew just what to do. She wrapped, she dipped, and to make his hair perfect, she sprayed Stanley's hair bright orange and blue. Ta-da, said Stanley. I am a work of art. You are going to be late if you don't hurry, said his mother. Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair. He gently tapped the tops of the spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. I bet Larry Finchfeather and I will have we'll have the craziest hair in the whole wide school, Stanley thought. As he walked toward the classroom, he heard his teacher talking. And remember, Mr. Winger said, Crazy Hair Day is, So this is a good time to make another prediction. Remember, we can make predictions before we read any of the story, and then we can make predictions throughout the story as well. So maybe this is a good time to make a prediction about what he's going to see when he walks into the classroom. So I predict that Stanley is going to walk into the room and see a class full of crazy hair. All right, so let's see if my prediction is correct. Next Friday. Everybody stopped. Everybody stared. Stanley felt sick. Larry Finchfeather said, "Is that a hair do or a hair don't?" Everybody laughed. Stanley ran to the bathroom. How do you think that Stanley feels right now? Maybe embarrassed? A few minutes later, Stanley heard someone come in. "It's me, Larry Finchfeather." "The Larry Finchfeather who just made fun of me in front of the whole class?" asked Stanley. "I was only teasing," said Larry. "Some days you tease me too much," said Stanley. "Mr. Winger said he wants me to try to be a peacemaker instead of a troublemaker," said Larry. "I'm supposed to bring you back to class." "I'm not going," said Stanley. "If you stay in here, you'll miss being in the class picture," said Larry. "I thought that was next Friday," said Stanley. "Crazy Hair Day's next Friday," Larry said. "Today is school picture day." Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair. He gently tapped the tops of his spikes. "This," he said, "is going to be a day I will never forget." So here's another time that we could make a prediction. I predict that maybe because he's messing with his hair, it said that he was tapping the tops of the spikes and rolling them around. Maybe he's going to try to take his hair down to look like everyone else for the picture. Let's see. Larry Finchfeather suggested that Stanley try washing his hair in the sink. "It won't help," said Stanley. "Halloween hair color lasts for days." "Well, it really doesn't matter. It's only your hair," Larry told him. "If you don't come out of here by the time math is over, I'm coming to get you. You can't stay here all day." It was very quiet after Larry Finchfeather left, and Stanley wondered if maybe he could spend all day in the bathroom. He ate his lunch. He drew pictures. He even timed himself to see how fast he could flush all the toilets. 32.5 seconds, he shouted. "A new world record by me, Stanley Birdbaum." Stanley had counted up to 121, 122, 123 drops of water from a leaky faucet when Larry Finchfeather came back. "Beep, time's up, let's go," Larry announced. "Picture time." "If I'm in it, I'll look like the class weirdo," said Stanley. "Remember 60s Day when Mr. Winger had the flu but came in anyway?" said Larry. "He said the day wouldn't be the same if we weren't all together. You have to come. I'll give you 5 minutes." Larry Finchfeather laughed, and Stanley Birdbaum thought about 60s Day when Mr. Winger had taught them all those great old songs. He remembered how on Pajama Day, everyone in his class had worn PJs and slippers. Then Stanley imagined what his class picture would look like without him. He decided to go back to class. To keep from being nervous, Stanley made up a song. Crazy hair, how I wish it wasn't there." Stanley felt someone touch his shoulder. "I was just coming to get you," said Larry Finchfeather. "What if they laugh at me again?" asked Stanley. "Everything will be fine," Larry whispered. "I promise." Stanley stood in front of his class. Now this is a good time to make another prediction. The story's almost over. So I'm going to predict that his school friends are not going to laugh and that they're not going to care what his hair looks like. They're just going to be glad that he's in the picture with them. Let's see. Everybody stopped. Everybody stared. Stanley rolled the rubber bands in his hair. He gently tapped the tops of his spikes. This, he said, is going to be a day I will never forget. So if you look, everybody has something silly on their head. We have paper, we have books, we have rulers and trash cans, it looks like, and crayons sticking out. Even the teacher joined in. And there he is, asleep. Well, his friends definitely didn't laugh. In fact, they joined in to make a silly class picture. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this story. I thought it was a really good one, and it really shows what it means to be a good friend at the end. So remember, today we read this one. Tomorrow I'll have another one for you. And then Monday, we'll read our last hair book. And Tuesday, we're all going to come to the Zoom meeting with some crazy hair. So either me or your teacher will give you more information on that before Tuesday as to what time it is going to be, but it will be Tuesday. All right. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day.